A criminally insane murderer in Washington state who escaped during a field trip to a county fair finally captured after 3 days on the loose. So many want to know this morning, why was he ever allowed to leave the mental hospital in the first place? Our Neil Karlinski has the latest in Spokane, Washington. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Robin. And there was a palpable sense of anger out here this morning that something like this could be allowed to happen. But there's also great relief this man's been caught. Police got their break when an old friend of the man called in saying he'd been tricked into giving the man a ride, not realizing the suspect had just escaped from a mental institution. Police used that information to zero in on him 180 miles away.
When sheriff's deputies finally got him, Philip Arnold Paul was looking for a ride hitchhiking.
Confirmed the subject is in custody.
The moment was captured on video by a police aircraft overhead after a statewide manhunt and embarrassing escape that's left law enforcement officials burning mad.
I can tell you that there was an extreme amount of anger throughout the law enforcement community that this event even took place.
Paul is described as a criminally insane killer, not the kind of person you'd want to meet with your kids while at the fair. Yet the Spokane County Fair is exactly where officials from Eastern State Hospital took him for a field trip last week, along with other mental patients. Paul, whose rap sheet includes the brutal murder of an elderly woman in 1987, mingled with fairgoers, ditched his chaperones, and vanished. Nurses at the mental hospital tell ABC News they warned supervisors the trip was a bad idea.
My members that worked directly with Mr. Paul came to me and said he's not stable.
And police say hospital officials made matters worse by waiting a full 2 hours to call 911. Overnight, the head of the agency that oversees the state's mental hospitals promised action.
If indeed disciplinary action up to termination is necessary, I can assure the citizens of the state of Washington I will make the necessary changes that need to happen here to make sure this cannot happen again.
Police believe Paul had planned the escape for months. When he was found, he had a sickle with a 9-inch blade, a backpack, and a guitar. In fact, his MySpace page includes songs like Nut Hut and Rock and Roll in the Mental Institution. In a surprising bit of deja vu, the deputy who captured him has done so before. The very same officer arrested Paul after another escape back in 1991.
Very glad it's all over. Very glad that it came to the successful conclusion that it did.
There is a serious statewide investigation going on right now to determine why this hospital would take an insane killer on a field trip to a county fair of all places. All of the state's mental hospitals are now put on a freeze, no more field trips, pending a further review. Robin?
We're sure about that. All right, Neil. As the detective said, glad it's all over.